Tired of the same old furniture? Watch how we take fallen tree branches and turn them into a stunning, one-of-a-kind river table. First, we prep the branches by removing small twigs and cutting them into short pieces on the bandsaw. To dry the pieces and stabilize the wood, we bake them in the oven. This helps prevent cracking and excessive air bubbles later on. Next, we move on to shaping the edges of the branches. We use a router to cut a flat section on each piece, ensuring they will sit flush and secure on the plywood surface. We use strong wood, glue to secure the shaped branches around the perimeter of the plywood board. This will form the outer frame of the table. 2. We complete the frame construction with a second layer, carefully gluing the pieces and leveling the heights to ensure a straight and tight edge. Once the frame is complete, we seal the joints with super glue, then use a thin epoxy resin to coat the branches completely. This step ensures the wood is saturated and any pores are sealed before the final pour. Now, for the decorative centerpieces, we prepare thick wood slices, remove the bark, and also reduce their moisture content by drying them in the oven, aiming for a very low moisture percentage. We use the router with a template to hollow out a section of the slices, creating an aesthetically pleasing and functional shape for the table surface. We coat the table base with a layer of epoxy resin, then carefully arrange the circular slices in the middle. These slices will be the islands in our epoxy river. We mix a thick epoxy resin with a beautiful, watery blue pigment, then pour it around the circular slabs. This is the river that will define the table. We let the epoxy cure, then use a heat gun or torch to remove any air bubbles that form during the pour. Once the epoxy has hardened, we install a router sled josh jig. We use this to perfectly level the entire table surface, removing any excess epoxy or uneven heights. We begin the detailed sanding process for all surfaces, removing scratches and preparing the table for the final finish. We apply multiple coats of halcyon varnish to the entire table surface, including the edges, to give the resin and wood a protective, glossy shine. Finally, we assemble the table by attaching the carefully designed wooden legs. The result is a magnificent piece of art, a rustic epoxy river table. Follow us for more.